What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Investing Bros. It is 3 p.m. and it's time for another live show. What a weekend. What a weekend, everybody. For Solana lovers, for AVAX lovers, for render lovers. You know, we got that pump into the NVIDIA conference, but we're getting a little bit of a dip here. So is this a little bit of a sell the news type of thing? We'll have to talk about that a little more. But Solana continues to lead the bull market. But in today's video, today's live show, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to cover a lot of details. We're going to be talking about potentially a coin that could take on a Solana-esque rally with a 2x in a short amount of time. What coin is it, though? You're going to have to watch the video and find out. That's the thing about YouTube. Can't give you the answers right up front. You got to hook you in, got to keep you entertained the whole time. And in that way, you'll smash the like button. And maybe, just maybe, if you haven't done it already, you'll hit subscribe as well. Well, we are literally about to hit 10,000. I think at some point this week, that's my prediction, before next Monday, same time, we will be over 10,000 subscribers. Who knows? At that point, maybe over 11,000. And that is because you guys right now watching the video, you're clicking the subscribe button. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am joined by the amazing, the fantastic, the Florida man himself, Mr. T. Shroom, with the trucker hat today. T. Shroom, how you feeling?
I'm feeling more illustrious than I deserve. I didn't get called illustrious today. I was kind of hoping for that.
All right, well, back it up. Go back to me. Go back to my, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the very illustrious T. Shroom from down there in Gainesville, Florida. T. Shroom, how you doing today? There we go.
I'm doing great, Tim. I'm doing better than I deserve. I've actually got a quote here. Shout out to FD White. He was on the channel, I think, a week and a half ago. He said this: The worst part of the cycle is here. Meme coins mooning, while your coin you research long and hard for is stagnant. Most will let emotions take over, take the money out of that project, ape into memes, just for that meme to go down 99%. Then the coin you sold for the meme coin moons. Patience wins in a bull run. Stay the course. Some wise words, I think, from FD White. Tim, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like it. That's a good one. You know, we have a name for the people that move their money from smart projects into memes. We call them idiots, is one of the names. And if you're an idiot, that's fair. Guys, guess what? Other things in life, I'm an idiot, very much so. You should embrace your idiocy and learn from it. You're an idiot, but hopefully you can grow out of your idiocy with some valuable life lessons. That is the goal of life. Every day, you just get one step better and better and better until you're a smart person. Smart people do not hold meme coins long term. That's just a fan of it. A Mercy Received is not a fan of clickbait. Thank you for letting us know that, Mercy Received. We're very, very grateful for that.
Now somebody's out there confused because we do have meme coins in our portfolio, our long-term portfolio that we created, but those are meme coins that have a longer-term narrative. The ones I hold are Dogecoin and Ordi, right? But what we've been seeing day in and day out here on the crypto bubbles chart is a little different, right? With the Flokies, the Bonks, the Pepes. Now, some of these aren't bad holds for multiple months.
For seasons of time. Yeah.
But don't be under any delusion that these are going to have returns like Cardano, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or Chainlink, or something like this. You know, because ultimately the spirit of the memes will leave these specific memes and go inhabit new memes. And there's some exceptions for like Doge and Sheeb, because they were in some sense the first meme coin. So they have a special place in the market's heart.
Eric Wallen is trying to get the coin selection told early, and it's not going to work, Eric. He said if you say ADA is making that 2x rally, I'm leaving. Well, Eric, I'm not telling you what coin it is. I will tell you there are three options that T. Shroom and I will discuss. There are three coins that we are looking at right now that do look like they're potentially just more oversold than the rest of the pack. And maybe, just maybe, there's a 2x coming their way very soon. Put your picks in chat. You have to wait for the entire episode. I'm not saying we're going to talk about the end, but you have to watch because you never know. We might just come out and pounce with our selections at any moment. So that's why you got to strap in. But you guys can go ahead and put in chat, what is your most likely... And I want to make sure we clarify that. We're not talking about some coin that's currently ranked number 3,047th on the CoinMarketCap charts. We're talking about a coin that people have heard of before, has a decent amount of volume to this day that could realistically, similar to Solana, 2x within the next month. We'll call it a month. Let us know your choices. T-Shroom, let's go ahead and get into the charts here. Let's go ahead and get into coin market cap and see what is a move in Bitcoin down today. We're going to take a look at a lot of different coins here. A couple of different coins are down. It's only down 1.7% versus Ethereum continuing to bleed against Bitcoin. We might need to take a look at the ETH over Bitcoin chart.
Yes.
Because it's now looking like outside of the 90-day period, Ethereum is losing some ground on Bitcoin for a while. Even that one, the fact that Bitcoin's up 63% versus Ethereum only 65 would mean even in the 90-day span that ETH over Bitcoin has dropped. ETH with a market cap that is less than half of Bitcoin's, it needs to have like double the returns, double the percentage to just hang tight with it. So they're continuing to lose on Bitcoin for sure. Solana, though, again, the melting of faces. Talked about it earlier in a video I made earlier today. It hit our target, went a little bit above. We'll look at the charts here in a second, take a look at that one. But notice where Solana is on the list. We had Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2, Tether number 3, just as we're used to and accustomed to. But instead of BNB coming in at number 4, it is Solana jumping BNB. Now, they're neck and neck here in market cap. Technically, about $6 billion more in Solana, but this is one to watch for the next couple of weeks. Could see some flip-flops happening. XRP's in the red here as well. AVAX, the other big coin, still up almost 10% in the last 24 hours. We will talk about that coin and a whole lot more. Let's take a look at biggest gainers, biggest losers we got going on. Jupiter, not what we need here. You guys know Jupiter is one of my coins that I am shorting this week in my competition with T-Shroom. Is up 9%, so not what you want. Jupiter, go ahead and take a crash there. AVAX as well is on my short list. I'm not surprised by AVAX jumping up 65. Again, that was the prediction we made last week, but I thought we were going to delay that a little bit longer, and did it very fast, which is good, though, because I have, 5 more days until we have to take those profits and see who wins. Which, by the way, T-Shroom, if you guys are wondering, is winning by a landslide simply because Bohm, his number 1 pick, is already down 50%. It's ridiculous. So anyway, let's see what other big gainers we have. Of course, Solana's in here, Kava's in here, Aptos is in here. Biggest losers of the day, potential coins to look at. If the markets have a little bit of bounce back. I don't love that they're memes here. Again, memes usually pump and then dump right as the rest of the space wants to fall. So Floki and Pepe being 1 and 2. Not what you want. I do like seeing that Arweave is in the biggest losers, though, down 16%, because that's one of T-Shroom's long. So, trying to counterbalance these trade competition we have going on. Bonk as well is joining it. Near Protocol is joining it. Ajax, Fetch. A lot of the AI tokens are joining the top losers. Why? Well, because they all pumped because of the NVIDIA conference. But now the NVIDIA conference is going on. They're starting to fall back just a little bit. That is our market cap. Let's check in on a couple of this. Let's take a look around the block at a couple of things you should know about. Fear and Greed Index on Bitcoin down to 77. It is dropping. This, of course, is after it made its way up to 90. Remember, I'm not going to say that this means we have to have some form of a significant pullback, but historically, when we hit that 90 number on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, like June of 2019, like here in December of 2020, although that one went for months before they finally had the correction, but January 2021, we had our nice 31% correction. Of course, then in February, we had another 90, and then we had a nice 25% correction. My point is, historically, when you see the 90s hit in Fear and Greed Index, and then Fear and Greed starts to trickle down, historically, these are paired with 50, 30, significant pullbacks in the price of Bitcoin. And speaking of the price of Bitcoin, let's go take a look at it. You guys can see some significant moves we're making here. You guys know that we've talked about this rising wedge on Bitcoin that should see the price of Bitcoin fall potentially down to the price level of just below 63,000, somewhere around 62. Oh, that did not go where I wanted that to go. It moved on me. I want to be accurate here. Around 60. Why is that saying 63? I must have drawn the line wrong because we had this below 63 here just a little bit ago, but it's saying 63 something. I don't know. The other day we said 62.7, but anyway, 63,000 give or take. Guess what 63,000 would be from this point? That would be just over a 10% pullback, a very modest 10% pullback. Currently, Bitcoin has only pulled back right here about 12. Oh, man, why am my math is all over the place right now? My charts are all over the place. That's a 12% pullback. Maybe what is it? 63 would be Stay with me. 15% pullback. All right. Well, we did get our 12% pullback. A little bit of a rally coming in, bounce, making some people more bullish. Of course, we had a trend line going right here on Bitcoin. I told you guys, keep an eye on if we break this trend line. Well, that happened, but check out where we're seeing several different levels of rejection. That's coming in right here, just at $69,000, the former all-time high back in 2021. And you're not necessarily seeing the bulls feeling a lot of strength here. Yes, they've rallied back up to this point, but instead of rebounding and getting lower dips each time, they are consistently dropping back down to somewhere around 66,600. And you know what that is? The devil's number. And that tells you that that's not good. Not good that Bitcoin keeps doing that. We'll keep an eye on some other things that happen. But I would say if you were looking for the bulls to regain control at this point, we're screaming 69,000 needs to be recaptured when it comes to Bitcoin. The problem, however, and we've addressed this in previous videos, is that we're seeing a lot of signs out here on the daily chart that a reversal should be coming. Not only do we get this bearish MACD cross that is continuing to pick up steam, we had the money flow over here on our daily Bitcoin chart, bearish divergence, our trifecta of reversal, bearish momentum, and negative money flow, but also the excessive buyers dropped like a rock, just like I told you guys. When we made this call, we were back up here. Back on the 12th, I told you guys, watch for when the buyers start to leave. This will drop very quickly. And historically, whether you're talking about where the excessive sellers leave or excessive buyers leave, when you have that many excessive buyers and they leave that fast, like back here in January of 2021, guess what happens? The price drops. Now, it's a bull market. We're not talking about 80, 70, 60% pullback, anything like that. I still think that, if we're just going off of this bull run alone, 20% makes a lot of sense. That would pull us down here. Let's go check out that one real quick. Let's see what that would bring us to. That would bring us somewhere into the ball range of 58 to 57,000. Back down this yellow line, 58,000, give or take. Why am I saying 20%? Because that's been the historical pullbacks of this bull market. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them. But a 30% one would make a lot of sense as well. And now we're talking about potentially pulling back down to 48,000, the former golden pocket we blasted through. Those are the ranges. I'm kind of like, realistically, I think we hit 58, 59. I think that just happens. One of the reasons why is even coming over here to our high block liquidation chart, which I got to fix now because I was messing with it right before the show, and that is completely on me. I do apologize deeply for
Tim.
wasting. I'm wasting like 10 seconds of your guys' day, and it's uncalled for, and I really do apologize. You're going to see here, we do have our liquidations coming in. Guess where the two fattest parts are? Yes, we got some nice liquidations up here at 75. That's if the bulls take back control. But if the bears keep pushing, a lot of longs will get liquidated here around 60,000, around the 59 number. There is some interest right there on 55 as well. I told you guys keep an eye between 55 to 60. But then the fattest level on the chart right now going back is the 50K, which puts us right around the 48,000 former golden pocket. So keep your eyes on those. This is a larger time frame right now. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, because if we go to the 7-day, the range is looking a lot tighter. In fact, the range on the 7-day is saying, could we potentially even get a pop up to that 75 first? We'll have to wait and see. Again, we need to see some strength from the bulls getting back over 69, but that is kind of currently where we are sitting right as we speak when it comes to Bitcoin. Before we get into, because we will talk about the coins that T. Shroom and I suspect could have a Solana-esque rally. Let's talk about Solana itself with this amazing run. I remember doing this right here, and I made some scalp trades. I ultimately bought a lot of Solana back down towards $30-ish, so I'm feeling okay. But I remember when we were hovering here around $100, being like, should I scoop some more up? Should I get? And I was like, no, don't yet. We just set a lower high back here. There's a good chance we drop even further back down, maybe towards $40 or $50. Didn't happen. The bulls took over. We rallied 100%. We're up 100% since February 24th. It has not even been a month. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Solana has doubled in price. Now, the good part of that is if you were in that run, you made a lot of money. We hit our target right here. You guys know I made a video last week talking about 206. Well, we did a little bit better than that, went to 210 on Solana. But when you make moves of this magnitude, the piper comes a-calling. And I'm not talking about Army Piper, although he's probably calling for it as well. I'm talking about the pad piper. that's going to come and say, hey, you know what? You got a 2x. You owe me a good 30% pullback, a 40% pullback. Why? Well, that's what Solana has done this entire space. After hitting $8 here, let's go look at all the pullbacks that Solana has done. We got a nice 53% right here back in May of 2023. Then we come up here, set a new high for the year, give ourselves a nice 45% pullback. Then we have an explosive rally again, going nuts all the way from 20 cents shooting to 120. So we're talking about like a 5-6x right here. Now we have this little pullback of a good little 37%. So, rounded to closest 10, we're talking about 40%. I'm being generous here by saying only 30, although I think 40 is an interesting one as well. It's about time after this massive rally for a little bit of a slowdown. Let's see a potential back down to 140, although I like the 40% kind of coming this range back to 126. Why? Well, this was that high that in December had massive implications, followed by a nice 40% pullback. Well, yeah, we broke through it, kind of hesitated for a little bit, but this is one of those bring the boat back situations for for institutional investors. Would not be surprised to see 126, but if you're saying, Tim, what if this time's different, which a lot of things are different about this time, you might be safer looking at 150. It's not as advantageous of a buy spot, but 150 could be the one in play right there. Let's take a look at Lux Algo, of course. Lux is the sponsor of our channel that's killing it here recently. We have a lot of people that signed up here recently. Give us feedback on how it's going for you. But similar to Bitcoin, how I warned just a couple of days before Bitcoin dipped back below 74, yes, we're up high, but look at the money flow starting to come back down below that bullish threshold. We've had a lot of excessive buyers fueling this pump. But that excessive buyers, they look like they're starting to teeter. They haven't dropped off yet, and that's why price is still hovering right at $200 as we speak. But when those buyers leave, we got a red reversal. The oscillator's slowing down. You're seeing a lot of these different indicators just showing massively oversold at the moment. We've hit our take profit on the daily chart with confidence. When that keels over, it could keel over quickly and have, again, a nice 30 to 40% dip back down. Here's the thing. Anyone who's mad about me saying this, why are you mad at me? Wouldn't you like to buy Solana at 126? Am I really the villain for suggesting that we should have the ability to buy Solana at $126 rather than $199? I feel like that makes me a good guy. I feel like that's something that's admirable and that should make you smash the like button rather than saying Tim's a bear. And because sometimes that hurts my feelings when you guys say that. Because I'm not a bear. I want to make money. And sometimes you got to lose money to make some money. You know what I mean, T-Shroom?
That's right. It makes me think of the Office episode where Dwight says, "Are you admirable or impish?"
Impish.
Impish? No, you're not impish.
I'm not impish. Yeah. T-Shroom, what are your thoughts? Sitting back here this weekend and watching Solana go crazy, what are your thoughts? Crux says Solana is saving my portfolio for real. Solana is definitely carrying the bag of the Tim Warren wallet right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I'm trying to do as much research as I can on new projects, and I feel like we have one. It's not a new project, but one today we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes that I think probably you haven't considered in a while, right? But I'm at a phase in the market, and I would say that so should everyone else be, that if you don't find another like Caspa or another like coin that's just like, oh, I've never heard of that before, but it's obviously good, you really should just be sitting tight on your bags and just using your income from your fiat mining operations to go ahead and buy the coins that you're convicted in, the Chainlinks, the Cardanos. In Solana, when I see it moving up and to the right, I'm like, that's great. I don't have a huge bag of Solana. I have a bag. I got in around 85, 100. So it's been nice, but it's not a very big bag, right? And so, but I'm cheering for my bros who got into Solana real heavy, right? And I'm just waiting patiently, as FD White said in his tweet, I'm just waiting patiently for my bag to inevitably move up and to the right, because that's just what we see every cycle in crypto. So that's kind of my thoughts. I'm happy. I'm happy for people who've gotten into Solana. I'm right there with you to a lesser extent, right? But that's just the nature of markets. You're not always going to get the best coin in the best sector in every moment in every week. That's not how it works.
Do you own a whole Solana? Are you a whole coiner when it comes to Solana?
Yeah, I think I've got at least one Solana. Yeah.
Listen, there's different phases in life you go through. The big boys in the space are one coiners, whole coiners in Bitcoin. The teenagers, you're making your rounds. You're a whole coiner in Ethereum. You're doing admirably to be
Not
a whole
ambitiously.
coiner in Solana. But then, of course, there's the whole coiners in like XRP and Cardano. In which case, if you're not a whole coiner in one of those, don't know what to tell you. We're got some problems.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of Solana.
Yeah.
Good. I don't really think about it like that though. If I have a whole, I only really think about
no
Bitcoin.
one does, and that's the thing, man. Like, listen, a whole coiner. If I'm right, and I hope I am, and I think I am about this, not about everything. If you're a whole coiner Solana, you might have yourself a nice $1,000 at the end of this bull market. So if you have multiple of those bad boys, then you could be multi-thousand. And that's, the other thing about it is, I say this because a lot of people are whole coiners in most of these projects, right? Most of us have been around long enough to do it, but I want to make sure we don't discourage people who maybe can't be whole. Like, maybe your portfolio as a whole is not even a whole Bitcoin or even a whole Ethereum. That doesn't mean you shouldn't invest. It's awesome to think about, hey, I could make $1 million in this bull market. But to be fair, unless you get really lucky with some really crappy little coins, you're going to need you needed to start this market off with $20,000 to $30,000 or more, maybe closer to $50,000 to get to that $1 million spot, right? You got to have money to make the big money. But if you came into this bull market and you only had $100 or $500, and let's say by the time you finish this, you turned $100 into $70,000. I don't know. I'm just throwing these numbers out there, right? 70,000 is not $1 million, but that's money. Let's say you finish this whole bull market, you only started with $100 and you finish it with like $10,000. Is $10,000 going to change your life forever? No, but it's a lot more than $100. I'll tell you that. And you learn some valuable lessons along the way that help you make those $10,000 into $1 million in the next 20 years of your life. So don't ever feel like because you didn't start with a lot of money and you might not make $1 million in this bull market that you shouldn't invest at all. I literally had a conversation with somebody yesterday talking about he's actually, I'm going to start teaching about Bitcoin. I was at church yesterday and the guy was like, you got to teach me about it. Cause he's like, I first heard about Bitcoin when it was $300 per coin. And he's like, my friend told me to put $100 into it. And I thought, well, my $100 is better spent somewhere else. And you got to think about it. His $100, I can't do that. His $100 would be worth thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars right now if he had put into Bitcoin back when he heard about Bitcoin's existence. But instead, because he held it in USD and probably put it in his bank account, if we were to have the same value of US dollar that we had back in 2000, whatever date that was, 2012, 2013, whatever that was, it's actually only worth $50. The dollar has lost half of its value in the last 10 years. And Bitcoin's gone up like X amount of crazy percentages. So don't think just because you don't have a lot of money that you shouldn't even bother investing. Turn the $10 into $100. Turn the $100 into $1,000. Keep building and making the right steps, and eventually you'll get yourself $1 million and you'll be happy.
Yeah, we got a question here from Ben saying, "Hey Tim, bearish divergence on the monthly for Solana. What are your thoughts?"
I think he might have mentioned that in Twitter, and I told him if he came to chat, I would take a look at it and tell him what I think. Now, I'll start off here on Solana. There's bearish divergence on a lot of time frames. I mean, it's screaming at us here on the 4-hour chart, right? You see it. ALGO tells it to you for you, but you can look at the MACD, you can look at the RSI, and we have a triple touch right here where the price highs keep going up, but the oscillators keep setting these lower highs. So I want to just preference that. We have it on the 4-hour chart. Let's see, do we have it on the daily chart as well? No, I don't think we have any on the daily chart. So we're skipping some middle zones. Let's see about the weekly. Don't think we have any on the weekly. Nope, we don't, because even if you want to go by there, but this is what he's going to compare. If we go to the monthly, this is where he's going to say we have bearish divergence. And bearish on the monthly, I don't see it. It's maybe weak bearish divergence. RSI, no, see the RSI back here at the highs we had in October of 2021. Way up here, it's 96. Currently, we're only sitting at 79. So, no. Are you sure it was Solana? Maybe I thought there was another coin I was looking at that had it. Maybe Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin sitting in? Yeah. Okay. Well, this is where I saw it. Bitcoin, technically speaking, right now, does not have bearish divergence, and I'll explain to you why. It could. If we close the month, like if today was March 31st, and we were in 10 minutes about to go and open up April, and this was the candle body closes on the monthly chart. Let me go to a cleaner chart so you can see this more clearly. That was not helpful. Let's go to a different chart. Bitfinex. I never do stuff on Bitfinex, so this is going to help me. We have a candle body close that is higher than this candle body close, but yet the MACD is lower, the Lux-Algo oscillator is lower, the RSI is lower. If that happened, you still wouldn't have bearish divergence. Why? Because we could still be rallying in price. To be able to call bearish divergence on a monthly chart for Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need to see a close of a bearish candle. I need to see, let's say April closes down here towards 50,000, or whatever. We close up here on 67. We close April down here, and we have still these same metrics. Now we can talk about a monthly bearish divergence. To call things divergences, you have to have confirmation that the trend is over. You cannot try to call it too early. And on the monthly chart, for example, because it takes a whopping 30 days to 31 days, depending on the month, or 29 if you're February on a leap year, you got to wait a long time for these types of confirmations. So is bearish divergence in play on Bitcoin? Absolutely, yes, it is. But is it official, and should you be making any types of trades based off of it? The answer to that question is no. And that's the thing about the monthly chart, guys. If you're trading off the monthly chart, good for you. But think about your investments in the terms of years, not days or weeks. If I'm trading based off what the monthly chart is saying, that's because I'm making money moves for the next 10 years of my life. If I'm looking at the weekly chart, I'm talking about the next couple months of my life. If I'm looking at the daily chart, I'm talking about the next couple weeks of my life. If I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, I'm talking about the next week of my life, and so on and so forth. The lower the time frames, the lower the time frame you want to invest, the lower the time frame you need to be looking on the charts. But monthly chart, it's not at bearish divergence officially. Solana's not either. And to be fair with you, it's going to take a lot of stuff to happen before we can confirm that there is in fact those divergences. And the way we're going in this bull market, I think it's going to be a while before we get some bearish divergence on the monthly.
Here's what I'll say about reading too much into the bearish divergences, especially on those higher time frames, is Tim O'Reilly says it pretty well. Being too early is indistinguishable from being wrong. Right? So if you short Bitcoin based on a legitimate claim of a bearish divergence, you're going to lose money, right? Until you're proven right. But with this market, there's a lot of this time's different variables floating around. It's just way more profitable just trade the smaller time frames, the shorter time frames, and look for the divergences there. If you're just dead set on trading divergences, look into the lower time frames, spend time there trading, and don't put all your eggs in a big monthly basket, because the facts on the ground are also important. The fundamentals, as we harp on, is that the fundamentals are important. Maybe not as important as the technicals, but they are certainly important, and they coincide. Well, speaking of which, we have a decent amount of news. We have some breaking news. This is actually, it's not really going to affect your portfolio, but it's big for the crypto community. Binance co-founder Changbin Zhao, otherwise known as CZ, announces a new project.
Let's just call him CZ.
CZ is announcing a new project, and it's an education project. Guys, that's pretty much all the information that we know, so I'm not going to go too much into this one, but this could be interesting.
From prison. I'm just kidding. He's not in prison.
He's not in prison, but he is kind of locked into the United States, and he's not
I didn't know he was
leave.
allowed. Go back to the article. What the headline? I'm going to read it again. He's doing what? He announces a new project. Is he allowed to have a new project?
So it's an education project. So my guess is that...
Is there a token associated with it?
My guess is that there is not a token associated, or the token is like not going to be released until 2030 or something like this. Yeah. But so far, there's no more information. I've read up and studied and made sure, but there probably will be more information here in the next week or so. My expectation is that he's probably partnered with somebody like, not specifically, but somebody like Jack Dorsey, or somebody who's like, kind of in the higher level crypto world, trying to educate and increase adoption, increase awareness, that type of a thing. Because right now, he's at a PR low, right? There's a chance that he's been knowingly, doing a bunch of crazy money laundering and stuff, and that's kind of
not in my book.
That's what the DOJ.
He's all right with me. I like him.
Right, and so there's going to be people. I think probably he's all right? But he is being investigated by the DOJ, and so that's Who knows?
Another point in favor of him in Tim's book.
I'm not necessarily going to change my opinion based on the outcome of the DOJ investigation, but it depends what they come out with. I mean, if they come out with something very scathing and obvious and very provable based on a lot of evidence, that might tilt the scales for me. Anyway, that's not going to change your crypto portfolio. So we'll keep moving on here, but this is definitely interesting in a lot of ways. What will affect your crypto portfolio is an $800 billion AUM bank saying that they are adjusting their forecast to the upside. Standard Chartered raises year-end BTC forecast to 150,000. You've probably already seen this headline, but also sees 2025 high of 250,000. So this is pretty significant. These predictions continue to tick up. A representative said, "We think the gold analogy in terms of both ETF impact and the optimal portfolio mix remains a good starting point for estimating the correct Bitcoin price level medium term." The note said the ETF inflows reach our midpoint estimate of 75 billion and or reserves managers buy Bitcoin. We see a good chance of an overshoot to the 250,000 level at some stage in 2025. In 2025, we see well, first of all, let's stop there. Tim, do you think the 250,000 estimate is realistic?
For Bitcoin?
Yeah.
It's on the bullish side of realistic. Yeah, I think what is the definition of realistic? I mean, honestly, like I at this point, I think 80K is realistic. I think 100K is realistic. I think 150 is realistic. And then after that, it's like, do I feel good about my picks over 150K? I can't tell you with 100% certainty. To be fair, I can't give you 100% certainty on others, but I'm probably sitting at 99% that we definitely hit 100. And then I think probably like 95% for 150. I think when you get over 150, I start to move closer to like the 70s, about like maybe like 175 to 200, like 70%, 65%. I think 250 for me is like a 50-50 type of deal. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that can happen that would make it go even higher than that. There's a lot that happen that would make us not even get close. So realistic, yes. Expected, no. I can't say it's expected yet.
Mm-hmm. They go on to say this. In 2025, we see the ETH to Bitcoin price ratio rising back over 7% level that prevailed for much of 2021 through 22. Standard Chartered said in a separate note, given our estimated Bitcoin price levels of USD 200,000 at year-end 2025, that would imply an ETH price of 14,000. So that would be very bullish from where we are now.
That's a low level for Ethereum. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. I think Ethereum. I think I'm lower than some people. I think I have Ethereum somewhere north of 17, pushing towards 18K. A lot of people think 20K is a certainty. I think 20K is very realistic in the same way 250 is. I like the 16 to 18K range though for Ethereum. I think 14K is kind of like the equivalency of like a 120 on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe you're tuning in for the first time and you're like, I'm not even convinced Bitcoin is worth anything, right? Thanks you so much for tuning in. Glad that you've decided to type in Bitcoin or crypto live into the YouTube chat.
They probably got over here after the Peter Schiff stream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, just thank you for tuning in and, having some curiosities here. If it's your first couple hours researching Bitcoin, researching crypto, just realize there's a big difference between Bitcoin and crypto. Here at the Investing Bros, we buy both, right? But we spend a lot of time doing research and careful analysis. I can tell you with certainty that Bitcoin is a much, much more certain bet, right, than the rest of crypto, okay? So Bitcoin is seen as kind of the new gold. Larry Fink, CEO over at BlackRock, has called it the flight to quality, right? And that is seen as a big turning point for Wall Street and for global investment. Crypto, however, in my estimation, I've said this in a podcast recently, is kind of like Web. It's called Web3 for a reason, because Web 2.0 had a big bubble, the .com bubble, where a lot of projects got completely flushed out after they got way overbought, right? So we're kind of in that phase now. Where in the phase we are, we don't know. And I think there's a good chance, and that's kind of why we all like to buy crypto and altcoins, is because there's a good chance that we're at the beginning of that phase of that bubble, Web3 bubble, and it is far from burst, right? So that means you can make a lot of money in the meantime. So thank you so much for tuning in. Bitcoin, though, be very careful. Be very careful to make that distinction. If someone has talked you into buying Bitcoin, that's great. If someone has just talked you into researching crypto in general, just be very careful with crypto, right? There's a lot of scams, there's a lot of cons, a lot of what's called rug pulls in crypto. Bitcoin is something else, and it is what I believe is the new gold.
Before we move too much further forward, T-Sherm, let's not skim over the subtle flex you just made that you were on a podcast.
Yeah.
What podcast are you on?
Oh yeah. Well, someone reached out to us in our email. By the way, if you guys ever want us to come on different podcasts or anything, just let us know and you can make intros. Man, right now I will have that answer to you in just a second. But
I don't remember. See, that's how important T-Sherm is. T-Sherm does podcasts, can't even remember the names of them because his time is that valuable.
I'll find that name. I'll find the name of it here in a few seconds. I did repost it. Look at this one. This one's pretty funny. This tweet I made. This is an original T-Sherm tweet right here. Americans ask, "Hey, can we not have 120% debt to GDP ratio in the U.S.?" The U.S. government said, "Best we can do is ban TikTok." I thought that was pretty funny, Tim. But that got a downvote.
I think it was funny too. You get a thumbs up from me for that original tweet. I saw your park workout one as well.
Prince Hassan. So he reached out to me. Coin Exams.
Okay.
Coin Exams. He's the founder of it. It's an interesting concept. If you have some extra time, you can go research it. But he's made an alternative to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko that instead of ranking things based on the market cap, it's ranked based on like how many nodes there are, how decentralized it is, and things like that. And so it's very valuable. I had a conversation with him afterwards about, just because you build it, don't mean they're going to come. So he's going to have to kind of pivot over to thinking like a marketer more than a developer. But overall, I was excited to be on his podcast, and I'd love to do a lot more of those, just because it's so fun.
Yeah. Super chat from Bilal Shaban. Thank you for that, man. $20. Thank you.
Can you invite Big Cheds?
Yeah. What's a Cheds?
I'm assuming that's the name of an influencer.
Big Cheds is the name of an influencer?
That sounds like a fun NFT name.
Listen, we're looking up Big Cheds right now. If Big Cheds is a YouTuber, he is getting an invite from me because someone paid us $20. Cheds Trading? Is that who we're talking about?
I'm going to go to your screen, Tim.
Yeah? Cheds Trading?
Cheds Trading.
Is the guy? Bilal Shaban?
Come on, Bilal. You got to give us a little more information. Let us know.
The fact that, Big Ched, I think this is it because there's Big Cheds. It's a cheddar head for those of you wondering where Ched's coming from.
He's got a lot of subs.
Yeah, we're going to subscribe to his channel right here. Free subscription right there to Ched's Trading. How convenient of him. He's got a nice Twitter handle sitting right there for me to follow. I'm not going to click on that because I have private messages that would scare the crap out of you. We're going to DM this guy. Well, let's see. No, I can't DM him because he's not following me. But we'll reach out. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, barring there's a couple of projects out there that if we see someone is promoting, then that's a kind of a disqualifier. But as long as he's just kind of a crypto normie, he's not super bought in with one project or another, we'll likely do some kind of collab with him. But we got to make that connection. I mean, if you know him, if you're like in his Discord or something like that, try to make an intro. Otherwise, how are we going to reach him?
We'll try to squeeze him into our schedule.
Yep.
One of these days. All right, let's get. We got a lot of. This is a lot of fun. I'm sorry I derailed us with the podcast comment.
Okay,
I was interested in if you were cheating on me in our business ventures. So
my other podcast.
Crisis averted. Averted. Let's get back into the news.
My other podcast down in St. Louis that I visit.
Down in St. Louis. That'd be up for you.
They get bigger Christmas gifts than you do, Tim.
Probably.
All right. Well, one that we would be very remiss if we didn't cover. It's becoming a less and less important force on the economy with every passing day. But it is this. Is the Fed, and it is right upon us. Tomorrow they meet, and then on the 20th, so Wednesday, they'll be releasing their decision. And it's also, you see this asterisk here, it's important. We're going to get a new dot plot because they also issue a summary of economic projections. So all of you econ nerds know what I'm talking about. Anybody who doesn't, that's okay. To be honest with you, the Fed is probably not going to have a huge impact on the economy until probably the fall of 2024 because it just looks like they're not going to cut and they're just going to pause. And so they'll play less of a role, and that's probably exactly what they want in an election year.
Oh.
Cough, cough, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more. But moving into our last story here, and then we'll get into which altcoin we think is probably the best to go ahead and rotate into from here. It's underbought, and there's a couple. It's not just one, but we do have one that we wanted to highlight.
Well, we're gonna leave this up to open interpretation. We're gonna give you guys our takes on what it could be. But let's go. People commented earlier. They chatted earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What coin is the next coin to 2x in about a month span, similar to a Solana type rally?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Wan says, "Don't say ICP. Don't say ICP." Well, guess what? It's not ICP.
It was one that I considered, though, because Tim and I, before the stream, we were thinking, like, what would be kind of one of the better ones?
Listen, yeah, I think we've turned on ICP, recently.
Not turned on it.
Bearish. Yeah, we turned bullish on it. That's good clarifying.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing too many picks right there. Convert all to ADA or SOL. Good question. Convert all of what?
Oh, probably Bitcoin. All right, we got one more story, and then we'll get much deeper into this conversation.
Oh, yeah,
here.
okay. I didn't know
it's quick.
Right.
Hong Kong leaps into Ethereum ETFs and Bitcoin ETF delays as amid the Bitcoin ETF. So Hong Kong been slow to adopt Bitcoin ETFs and create their own, and it looks like they may be trying to take steps to go ahead and beat America to the punch here, following the successful introduction of the Bitcoin spot ETFs in U.S. January 2024. Hong Kong is keen to leverage the growing demand for crypto investment products to prevent this further disparity of money flowing into the U.S. ETFs versus Hong Kong. Institutions in Hong Kong are actively preparing for the launch of the Ethereum spot ETFs, aiming to seize a competitive advantage and strengthen the region's role in the global cryptocurrency market. Do you think this would be a good move for Hong Kong, or do you think they're asking for too much? Because Ethereum is more volatile than Bitcoin.
But they wanted to do what?
They just want to beat Gary. Gary's going to drag his feet. They want to say, "Hey, Gary, we're going to go ahead and launch ours." And all the people that have been buying up, all the foreign direct investments and buying up the Ethereum ETFs to the extent that it's not Americans, which I would imagine is probably around 10%. So not overwhelming, but if they could fetch that 10% over into their Hong Kong ETFs, it could be beneficial. It's a huge story. It's not really a huge story, but I love to keep tabs on the Asian narrative because it's gonna be like one of those things where it's kind of like boring, and then suddenly very interesting.
Yeah, shout out to anyone who wants to beat Gary. That's you're all right in my book. I know that's the leading thought right now that May is not going to have an Ethereum ETF. And people out there much smarter than me know a lot more about the details. But I still think I don't think that Gary wants a lawsuit. And maybe I'm wrong there. Is that not if they don't approve it by May, is there a way he avoids a lawsuit?
Nope. I think it's pretty certain that at least Grayscale is going to take him to court.
And also BlackRock. I mean, BlackRock has a winning record about getting their way against the SEC.
Which is
they filed for Ethereum ETF. So do they want to go to court with BlackRock? I don't think so. So what's that website? Maybe you said it. What's the website say right now is the probability of an Ethereum ETF in May?
I am looking that up right now, mi amigos. It's still 28%, and it's Polymarkets. Polymarkets.com, Ethereum ETF approval by May 31st, 28%. So still bad, still real bad. Again, the Bloomberg official percentage, kind of answering the same question, is 35%. So slightly more bullish, but still under 50. I think that ultimately it will pass in May because BlackRock's going to pull some strings. But if it doesn't, I don't think BlackRock will sue. I think Grayscale's probably going to sue, but BlackRock's I think they do their lawsuits behind the scenes, so to speak, with different judicial systems. Nudge, nudge, hint, hint, say no more.
But they're just as effective and they get the job done. Shout out to Malvin. Ooh, this is a fun one. Mungu? Is it as simple as Mungu or maybe it's Moongu? Either way, love the name. Shout out to y'all boys. And he's from the South because you don't say y'all unless you're from the South. Shout out to y'all boys. Could we take a look at Arweave real quick, though?
Yeah.
Doe. And he said doe at the end? Okay. This guy, he's a cool guy. This is a cool guy right here, Malvin. You can join the club of cool guys. We'll look at Arweave in a little bit because we have some stuff we got to look at. We'll take a Arweave look during Q&A because we got to get into this conversation and not have this stream be clickbait.
That's right.
Someone earlier accused us of clickbait, and I take offense to that.
Yeah.
We do not do clickbait.
Nope.
We talk reality, and you know what's so hard? When you don't do clickbait, you know how hard it is to come up with creative titles when you try your hardest not to clickbait people? Now, you might stretch some details a little bit, and you might fudge some numbers around. But ultimately, we try to always answer any questions we pose, discuss the topics on those titles in detail. No clickbait. We make you wait, though, and now you guys have been here for a while. Smash the like button. What coin is going to 2x in the next month? T-Shroom, what are the 3 finalists in our camp that we're going to be discussing could be the next 2x?
Well, I think the biggest ones are, I mean, the one that I'm voting in, we'll go ahead and reveal it. The one that I'm kind of voting in here is Polkadot. I think Polkadot is going to do pretty well. The Motley Fool just came out with this article here. I've got some supporting details. The Polkadot token has gained plenty of value in recent weeks. Is it too late to invest, or is it high time to take action on the skyrocketing cryptocurrency? Now, you might have been expecting, some $50 million coin, right? Some small coin like this. But the reality is that Investing Bros, we like to focus on the top 100, top 200 sometimes. We kind of reached down early on into Caspa, and then now it's in the top 100 now, I believe. Right.
Yeah,
so that's just like where we like to live. There's a lot of gem hunters that are out there that are killing it. We like Crypto Seth. We like Crypto Archie. And there's many, many more that do a great job that we've even collaborated with. But ultimately here, you shouldn't be surprised that we keep it in the top 200 here. Polkadot is really, really good. And, it's ultimately here, it's been patient, right? It's been patient on its ascent higher. And it's young Polkadot grasshopper. I don't know what it's talking about here. But when the Motley Fool, so the Motley Fool is kind of like it's like a little brother of CNBC. It's very Wall Street, it's very focused on like traditional investors. So the fact that it's even getting any coverage is very, very bullish. Yeah, it's an interoperability chain. And I'm going to show you guys on the charts here in just a second because it's very, very underbought. And if you look, and the percentage that it could potentially gain based on its all-time highs is very, very high. So, Tim, what do you think about Polkadot?
Well, I had another reason. I'm interested to see what you think on the charts. Real quick shout out to Bilal Shaban, $50 donation. Thank you, my friend. Said Tim, my brother. See, we're brothers.
We're all bros.
We're bros. He is a bro here. Tim, my brother, don't sleep on BigCH. I'm not sleeping on him. In fact, I've never met him. So the chances of us sleeping anywhere near each other, very slim. But I have subscribed. I have subscribed and liked his and followed him on Twitter. So if he go raid his streams and tell him to come sleep on Investing Bros.
Interesting choice
Do a
of
collaboration with Investing Bros very soon. My reason, T-Shroom, if you share my screen, for thinking Polkadot could have something special brewing. Binance Coin, BNB, and Polkadot communities buzzing with anticipation over D-Stream, a pre-sale with 100x returns on the horizon. Now, we're not sponsored by D-Stream. We're not sponsored by Polkadot or Binance Coin at this point in time. If any of those coins would like to reach out to us and pay us money to say something nice about them, I might do it. But this thing that's interesting about D-Stream, pre-sale 100x returns on the horizon, what has been maybe some of the biggest catalysts of recent rockets up in price of Solana and AVAX, two of the leaders. It's some of these other, meme coins and coins all built on their ecosystems going to the upside. So do we potentially have another big coin coming via the DOT ecosystem? Could that be what spawns a massive rally on Polkadot? Maybe. But T-Shroom, what are you seeing on the charts over there?
Yeah, well, I'm all the way zoomed out, baby, on Polkadot, and as you can see here, it is underbought. I'm going to throw on the Bullinger Bands here. You guys know I love my Bullinger Bands. I'm on the weekly chart. You can see that it is starting to. It's for the first time really confidently traded up above the midline of the Bullinger Band, and it is now currently, let's see, off of these lows here. It's currently trading 160% off those lows. It's been higher than that. If I go even further out on the monthly, I like to look at the Bollinger Bands. From the midline of the Bollinger Band, it's wicked up to 90%, but it is currently trading at only 60% premium off that midline of the Bollinger Band. That's a 200-day moving average for those of you watching at home. But going back out to the weekly, let's see if Polkadot could get all the way back to its all-time highs And this is not even in the bull run yet for Polkadot, right? So getting back to its all-time highs would put it at a 480% increase from where it is today. Now you'd have to go back and kind of qualify that with the the market cap and how much new DOT has been issued and will be issued, meaning minted and circulated, right? But overall, if you have to give a rating of if Polkadot is impish or admirable, right? I would say that Polkadot is very admirable. Almost said impish. Because of how underbought it is. Even if it turns out there's some kind of issue with the project, right? God forbid, which I don't anticipate that, right? But you're buying it so low in this point of the cycle. So that's why I really like Polkadot here as a buy, right? There's a lot of other coins that are in this category, but the thing is that Polkadot is been around, right? It's been through a couple of different bull markets, and it also has a lot of good leadership, and it's an interoperability chain, and there's a few of those. Atom, another one that comes to mind, another great buy, right? But Polkadot for me is just great because it's so underbought.
We're gonna talk about the other two coins here in a second as well that could foot the bill. Ultimately, we're gonna leave you guys. You're the audience. You're gonna decide what coin is of the three that we select the most likely to 2x. I'll give my thought when we're through all three of them. Go to my chart here real quick though. Other stuff kind of popping up here for Polkadot. Not only this is the logarithmic chart, guys. It has not even hit the 0.5 level. We're talking about a quality project. This is a quality project that has not even gotten to the 0.5 level. Everything else, mind you, is either at or above the golden pocket. Well, its golden pocket's coming in here at $19. That's more than 2x away from here. Also, here using Lux Algo, the price action concepts, looking for order blocks. I cannot find another large YouTube. I just said YouTube because I'm reading chat. And you guys, I think YouTube kicked half of our viewership off. I'm so sorry. I don't know why YouTube does this to us. Maybe it has to do with the sleeping comments. I don't know. But we have an order block above us on the daily chart. I'm not finding this on any other token. Bitcoin of our new highs, we're not going to have that. ADA, even ADA, no order block above us. Chainlink, no order block on the daily chart above us. Of course, it's not going to be on some of these bigger movers. DOT, though, legitimate project, and we have an order block coming up here as high as almost $20. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here of the potential price action of DOT. It's had momentum, so it's proven that it has the ability to pump, and we're not getting these crazy runs like we have with Solana just yet, and we're following up a pullback. Could we pull back a little bit more? I think so. I think we will. I don't think that the pullback we're currently in right now on the crypto space is over just yet. So I'm not saying that DOT's going to rally up here from its $9.18 or whatever thing, but I think, pull back down somewhere down here towards 863 possibly, and then Polkadot takes off, hits that golden pocket. I think, again, does it happen in a month? I don't know about a month, but can Polkadot do it? Should it be a candidate? Yes. We're seeing the fundamentals. We see it's a quality project. The charts are one of the most overextended charts, as both T-Shum and I showed you from different perspectives. Polkadot absolutely should be a candidate for an explosive 2x run in a month-long time span.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and get into our next coin because we got two more, right?
We'll be a little quicker. We'll be a little quicker with them. What's the second coin, T-Shum?
Well, you go ahead and do the second coin.
Right. Well, I want to hold in anticipation. There's, the third one's going to be nice and feisty. People are going to love it, and they're going to hate it, as they always do. Let's go with Chainlink. Chainlink is my second selection. And I'm not going to have a fundamental news-related reason other than this is a coin that has massive use case and a massive future. Again, it's one that I am predicting with my hot take will be the number 3 altcoin behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. And yet right now it's sitting at like number 14 or number 15. A lot of room left here for Chainlink. But after having an extremely explosive October where it led the space, it hasn't done it. It's gotten kind of boring. But one of the good things that it's done is it's building strong bases at higher levels. Rather than being extremely volatile, it's creating pockets and zones for good trading. But the minute it takes off, it's a candidate. Now, the problem with Chainlink, I'll go ahead and say it, even though it's one of our top 3 choices, I'm holding Chainlink just because it will take off without a moment's notice, and you don't know when it is. I don't know if it's going to be yet. Like, I think that Chainlink is going to need some sort of spark of massive news. Of course, that's what we've had with Solana and AVAX and these AI tokens here more recently, meme coins as well. There's just a lot of attention, a lot of stirred up emotions. Recently, I think that's been the real catalyst for a lot of the bullish momentum is just, for years, people were pent up in a bear market that was just very boring and stupid and they hated it. And now that they've been released, it's so exciting. It's like, oh, just go catch the train. Well, Link was exciting during the bear market, looking at the potential. Let's get a catalyst. Let's get a spark. And when that spark happens, easily Chainlink could go from $18 up closer towards 40. It's not going to be my top pick of these three to do it, T-Shroom. But when it's time to take off on Chainlink, be prepared because it will take off with or without you, and might not have to have a serious dip before that happens, like other coins.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Tim, do we want to do our factoid of the day before we get into our third coin?
I think that's an absolutely great idea. I saw earlier Zachary Martin, he literally said he only watches the streams for the factoids of the day. And I am lying when I say that because he didn't say those words exactly, but that's how I interpreted his message when he asked us to do the factoid of the day.
Right. And this, speaking of Zachary Martin, he said this. He said Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink. That's how he sees it in the next 5 to 6 years, which my takeaway from that, honestly, Tim, is that what he really wants to see is the factoid of the day.
Yes. It's reading between the lines. It's pretty obvious.
Right. Exactly. Yes. And he agrees with us there. So he gives us the fat yep. I love it. All right, here we go. Brought to you by Decrypted.tax. They are our tax guys over there. Decrypted.tax. Check them out. Before resigning in 1991, Vladimir Putin worked as a KGB foreign intelligence officer for 16 years, rising to what rank, Tim? Let us know in the chat what your guess is, well, because it looks like Tim probably doesn't know the answer. He needs to phone a friend. He needs help. Help Tim.
I don't even know if these are rankings within the Russian military.
That's okay.
I don't think he was a general. I think that would have been... I don't think he was a general. So I'm going to rule out D for now.
Okay.
Lieutenant Colonel sounds good. Also, did you know that Colonel is one of the hardest words to read? Because it just doesn't look like it at all. Whoever came up with the spelling of Colonel needs to rethink their life because that is a word that is very tricky. And I feel for all the young Americans learning how to read who have to go through that struggle of learning that word again. Go back to my list again. A lot of people are saying B as I focused on that as a colonel. That sounds right in the sense of, that's a high rank. First lieutenant, I just don't see you jumping from first lieutenant up to leader of the country. Captain, maybe, but I don't even know if Capitan. Don't think that's spelled correctly.
That's the Russian
maybe that's
spelling.
A clue. Maybe that's a clue that is not C because it's a made-up position of Capitan of the Russian military. We're going to go with B, Lieutenant Colonel.
He's locking it in, folks.
Colonel.
This is
Lieutenant
Colonel, and he's got it right. That's our boy. Putin worked as a KGB foreign intelligence for 16 years at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. T-shirt. Why this factoid?
Why?
First of all, I don't come up with them. The factoid elf does. But second of all, there was a Russian election, in case you didn't know, and Putin has declared winner of the race. And there you go.
Again.
There you go.
For what,
CNBC.
the 10th time in a row?
Well,
he's on
actually,
quite the streak of winning.
It's interesting you should ask that because he is the longest serving Russian or Soviet leader since Joseph Stalin, who you may or may not have heard of. Seems to be an important historical figure to some people.
Yeah.
So.
16 years. How often is their election? Is it every 4 years like America? Is it every 2?
I don't know that, Tim. I don't know. That would be an interesting factoid for the future. I'll mention it to the elf.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Zachary Martin said, did anyone run against him? Well, they might have run, but he has
no
his
comment.
Ways of winning. Has his ways of winning. All right. Let's get into coin number 3, T-Shroom. By the way, guys, again, shout out to Decrypted.tax. If you haven't done your taxes yet, because you're waiting until the last minute, go check out Decrypted.tax.
Absolutely.
The best CPAs out there. I use them. T-Shroom uses them. That's how we save all our money. Because I don't know if you guys have done taxes recently and then tried to do crypto taxes in there as well. Pain in the butt.
It is.
But Decrypted.tax, they know how to do it. And you also, when you use them, you support us. And by supporting us, You're a cool bro. So
Indeed.
go sign up with Decrypted.tax. The third coin that you guys all love and hate and want to talk about more and more every single day is Shiba Inu. Just kidding. It's not Shiba Inu. It's Cardano. Cardano is the coin. And before Eric Wallen goes on a small rant about why this is the worst pick ever, let me talk to you guys about Cardano and why it's the best pick ever. Because it hasn't taken off yet, and I think Cardano will. Ultimately, that's it. That's my reasoning. I think it will.
Underbought.
People a lot smarter than me. You know, I read Twitter every single day where someone has this huge list of reasons why Cardano sucks, and I've listened to it and I've tried to process the information, and ultimately all I hear is wah. But they're smarter than me, so maybe they have some quality points. But I also see someone with a very nice list of everything as to why Cardano is going to be amazing. And ultimately, for me, it comes down to, all right, I'm not a tech guy. I can't speak too soon. You never know. Things change. But I don't anticipate ever building my own stuff, my own coin, my own project, my own anything on any ecosystem, right? So I got a preface there. But the concept of the decentralization of Cardano, the concept of, yes, it's a more difficult code. That's one of the biggest arguments I've heard recently against it that has some footing to it. But in reality, it means that you'll have better and smarter and more secure code built there. To me, is a plus. I think the natural funnel of how money works is we have a very weak centralized money right now. And things will flood first to strong money, to strong holding money. Bitcoin, which Bitcoin will count for the second thing I say as well, but I think Ethereum is going to be strong, Solana's going to be strong, Chainlink's going to be strong. These stores of value that have strong purposes to them and they don't get easily inflated will flush there. But I ultimately think that the desire of every human is to have control of their future and to not feel oppressed by the elites and the centralized systems. And ultimately, this brings you into I want to be in a centralized ecosystem. Well, name for me a more decentralized. I said that wrong. Decentralized ecosystem. Name for me a more decentralized ecosystem than Cardano. I know we're starting to build stuff on Bitcoin layer 2s, but honestly, some stuff I'm seeing over there, as much as I'm excited about the price action, I don't think you should be thinking just yet that Bitcoin layer 2s are going to be the safe haven of decentralization, the way Bitcoin is amazing with decentralization. But name an ecosystem building a more decentralized protocol and system than Cardano. I ultimately think that Cardano is the end of the funnel when it comes to crypto enthusiasts. You might get in on your meme coins, and you might like what Ethereum has to do, and you might like the speed of Solana. But ultimately, I think all dirt roads lead back to Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech is, and that is where the founding of Cardano happened. Those you did not know, Charles Hoskinson was on Virginia Tech's campus when he was working on Cardano. Fun fact, bet you didn't know that. All dirt roads lead back to people want to have their money decentralized. Now, going to the charts, that's my fundamental reason as to why I think Cardano is a long-term play. When we go to the charts here, we're looking at Cardano having pulled back, sitting around 65 cents at the moment. Well, 2x would be like what? About 130 cents, meaning $1.30. That's a little much. So this is one of those coins that I think could have a nice run. The question of 2x, let's see if we can get down to 60 cents or lower before this happens. But you guys know I've talked about it. We are rejecting very, very hard right now around the 78-cent zone. Yes, we've had some wicks touch 80 cents, but I have talked about this level for a long time now, and it has worked as very strong resistance. Listen, we like to have fun here, but we also like to get things right, and we rejected as 78 cents. The next places we're talking about, there's a very mild section around 91, 92 cents that could happen. But in reality, the next big section is going to be somewhere between $1.12 to $1.25. All right. So depending on how far Cardano falls during this little pullback, we're talking about a nice 2x punch. When this white dotted line gets broken, and it will get broken tomorrow, next week, a month from now, 2 months from now, I don't know. That I cannot call. I can't call timelines very well at all. I can call price action pretty decently, though. And the next big spot we're looking at is roughly a 2x from a little bit lower than where we are currently sitting. T-Shirt, what do you think about Cardano?
Yeah, I mean, Cardano, it's just, you look at the history, look at the price chart. It does take a while for it to get picked up by new retail blood that kind of comes in. And that's just the reality of it. It doesn't spend a lot of money going after marketing outlays, right? What it does is it month after month outperforms pretty much every single other coin it competes with. Polkadot, a lot of times, I think it was, and there's a couple other coins that it competes with in new development, right? And continued development and rigorous development. And so that's ultimately what I'm looking for. And I'm not even a developer, right? But ultimately, if you want to pick the best horse, you got to look at the horse that's training the most, that's really putting resources and investment where it matters the most. And will Cardano be the currency of the future? Will it be the internet layer that cryptocurrency's like major use case is trying to be? I don't know about that, right? But I think of the field that I see now in crypto, I think it has the best. I think it has one of the best shots at that, unless marketing turns out to be extremely important. But in this bull run, I'm anticipating probably another 5 months, maybe in 6 months of a snooze fest for Cardano. Is that going to stop me from DCAing? No, because I've seen what this project can do and how it can really convince new investors that are coming into the crypto space, maybe from Wall Street, maybe from bond traders, maybe from all different corners of the world, and they say and they buy Bitcoin and they look at all the different altcoins and they're like, ooh, Matic, yeah, maybe I'll have a little bit of that. I understand it. Ooh, Chainlink, yeah. Oh, Ethereum, definitely. And then they get to Cardano and they're like, yeah, and enough of them give the thumbs up to Cardano. And so I look at it from a trade psychology standpoint, look at it from a fundamental standpoint. I think it's Santiment's analysis every month. They are at the top of the list of development. And at the end of the day, what is crypto? It's software. If you're not developing and making it better, then you better be Bitcoin because you're already perfect. If you're not Bitcoin though, then you need to be developing and aggressively developing. So that's my perspective on Cardano. Tim, what do you think about that? What you got cooking over there?
Well, I'm sitting here responding. Eric Wallen trying to throw out FUD and reasons not to like Cardano is that he says that they use the programming of the 70s. Well, my response to that, Eric Wallen, is most things were better in the 70s. The movies, the music.
That's right.
That's where the list ends to me. I mean, there's probably more stuff. I tried to look up. I was doing a quick Google search to see if Michael Jordan was born in the 70s because I couldn't remember.
Not
born
inflation.
In 63.
Inflation was much worse.
But we had the emergence of college basketball, Michael Jordan in the early 80s. So that doesn't fit either.
So buy Cardano.
So, yeah, the point of the story is the argument is moot and stupid. The 70s are fine. And by the way, they don't have tech from the 70s. They have the tech that everybody else seems to copy when their tech breaks down. That's just what Solana's had to do, what Ethereum's had to do. Cardano builds things slower but more secure, and then other people break things and say, we probably should have done it the way IOHK did it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Michael Jordan.
I have no reference, Zach. I don't know what the weed was like in the 70s.
That's like a known thing that the genetic modifications to cannabis makes it much more THC heavy as the current medical establishment, medical cannabis establishment has worked on. But one thing you mentioned, Michael Jordan, I learned that. So I just finished this series on Netflix. It talks about NASCAR of all things. I've never seen NASCAR. I've never been to one, even though I live pretty close to Daytona. This was a really interesting watch, guys. If you have a lot of time on your hands because you're just so rich from crypto, like Tim and I are, just kidding. Go watch this. It was really interesting, really insightful. And to be honest with you, Tim, I'm kind of interested in watching NASCAR now. Okay. Are we sponsored by Netflix and NASCAR? Maybe. No, we're not. But if they want to sponsor us, then
maybe your new podcast is. I don't know what you're doing over there with that. You're not sharing the money with me, though. I can say that for sure. No.
So. Oh, Tim, I would never.
You say that. Have you watched Netflix? What do you think about the ads on Netflix, T-Shroom?
What do you mean?
Bother you?
Pretty normal.
They bother your movie and TV watching time?
They don't bother my wallet. I mean, they make NASCAR. They make Netflix cheaper for me. So that's true. I don't know. I kind of agree with Amanda. I don't mind that the ads. The ads kind of break it up. They give you a time to think about, should I still keep watching? Because the thing that's dangerous with Netflix is that it'll just keep going and going, and the next thing you know, you've watched Netflix for like 5 hours. So the ads actually break it up. so that you
Yeah.
can like sit there, speed stick. And you kind of zone out of the Netflix trance and you reconsider whether or not you should be buying.
And that's the main thing about ads is ads, they save you money. Like when you're, for example, if you're doing your taxes and, you're trying to find a good CPA or two and you want to save some money on taxes. This advertisement right now that T-Shroom and I are performing for decrypted.tax is a way to save some money. Just like Netflix, we're taking the exact same business model. We are throwing in ads to our videos so that you guys can save some money. Go check out decrypted.tax. Tell them the bros sent you. And
25% off.
That's it. 25% off. Oh, 25% off. See, I didn't even know that. Saving money right there. Let's go. We only have about 5 minutes left. We promised in a super chat, and we don't ignore super chats, that we would do Arweave TA. So we're going to be doing some Arweave TA. Now, the first thing I want you guys to know about Arweave is that T-Shroom is currently entered into a long on Arweave that he is down. He entered that long at 34.70. We're not going to talk about my trades. We're because I don't want to talk about those right now. But T-Shroom is down in this trade on Arweave. Arweave had a nice explosive. Talk about another big gainer here. Forget the bull rush run of Solana. Arweave from right here back on February 7th did a nice little 6x. And we topped out right here back on March. So literally 1 month, we're sitting this entire episode talking about 2x's on Solana. Meanwhile, Arweave is out here putting in 6x's. It's good stuff right there. But guys, you know what follows when you have a 6x? Some form of a significant pullback. Let's take a look here. Arweave bottoming out for the bear market back in October, similar to what we saw with Cardano and what we saw with AVAX. The biggest pullback it has had here, let's see what this was. About 35%, but you're going to see that 35% pullback came after not necessarily a very big rally. I mean, this rally was roughly 217%. So I'm not going to try to do like this mathematics and say, well, if we had a 35% pullback after 215, that means we have to have a 60. That's not how it's going to work. But I do believe that we could see a bigger than 30% correction. I'm going to put this one in the category. I'm going to say Arweave is a 40% correction boat for me. I think that you should look for prices potentially 40% to the downside. And we're talking about a pullback, guess what, to an area that we actually wrestled with right here on $27, give or take, $27, $28. Get rid of that. Look at that. As we were rallying in this explosive market, that was one of our stopping points. So this tells you a lot of people wanted to exchange money in this area. Before it was they took profit and waited for the next time to buy. In this case, it could be the exact spot where you bring the boat back after a nice little rally from there, and this is where you have a nice 40% pullback before the bull market takes off. Let's see what Lux Algo thinks about this whole thing. Would you look at that? Take profit, lowest level here currently on the daily chart, $28.60. $28.60. We are under a sell order here. Let's see what our oscillators are saying here. Lux Algo, we got our nice, see, I didn't enter the short because I'm not tracking Arweave all the time. I should be, because this was a perfect signal right here. Red reversal, bearish momentum, crossed below the bullish threshold. Money flow left like a rock. That would have been a good short enter right in right there. I would have entered right before that white candle right there. And if we do make it all the way down to my level of 28, that's going to be a nice little pullback because the price action on that short would have been around $40 almost. So Arweave, I like it. This is one of the coins we have talked about. We're holding our long-term portfolio. I saw someone ask earlier if we could do a video on like a beginner-friendly portfolio. We did that months ago, but T-Shroom, with all the recent price action, it might be good to revisit that, to even say, all right, you know what, that was a good portfolio to build back in January. But now that we're sitting here in mid to late March, maybe it's time to, if you're just getting to crypto right now, what is looking the most advantageous? That might be a good stream for a Saturday. Now, Saturday, we'll do our competition. We'll do a little portfolio building for some noobs. Sounds like a great Saturday show. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a fantastic show, Tim.
Well, listen, we can only do it if people smash the like button.
That's true.
And that's the end of this episode, guys. You guys are going to smash the like button. You're going to subscribe. Let us know. Let us know if that's a Saturday show you guys want to see. But with that said, we love you guys. Hit those buttons I just talked about. Get the content up. Get us to 10,000 subscribers because we're going to need to have a party here soon, getting to 10K. You got to let us know what we should do for that party as well. With that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.
paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.